Hey guys, this is Baladev Das. I'm the Galactic Glyph artist, and I want to introduce you to my work. I have a little booklet here. You can find this on Amazon. It's called Living Light Language, Creation Speaks. That's my artwork on the cover there. These are my hieroglyphic writings and some imagery that is sometimes recognizable, but these are considered downloads of higher dimensional, vibratory, frequency uplifting images that I utilize the term living light language, which I drew from J.J. Hurtak's remarkable book that came out sometime in the 70s called The Keys of Enoch, which anyone who's into metaphysics and understanding the higher dimensional realities and the galactic brotherhood of light and so on, that's a great source book. So just looking around my room here, I have a couple of pieces. This is one that my wife likes, so I've got it hanging here in the room. This is, I don't always use recognizable figures, but sometimes I do. So here's a couple of intergalactic women exchanging a symbolic device, maybe a timekeeper. Some masks and some drums. Very native. I use the term ancient future to describe a lot of my artwork. Here's another piece. This is one of my favorites. Again, it's like Japanese scrolls, for instance. Or I grew up in the Pacific Northwest of Oregon, so the native Indians have totems. And what I've done is I've taken this abstract glyph-like form and turned them into totems. So what you have here is 4 totem beings in the middle and 2 on either side. And these are what I would consider guardians. And I use the term ancestral guardians, or even from off-world overseers of humanity's progress, whether they're Arcturian or Andromedan or Pleiadian. So often there's a Mayan influence that people recognize right away. I have been to India many times, and in this life I've been to some of the ancient ruins of the Maya, but I am a galactic Mayan, meaning I have connections with off-world Mayan galactics who are involved in the timekeeping of intergalactic goings-ons. And here's another piece. This is something I use to advertise when I have a booth somewhere. Living Light Language, Galactic Glyph Art. And as you can see, it's very whimsical and the ancient future quality of these images comes out. They're very playful, dancing, interacting, communicating. There's a lot of communication in these. And people feel the higher dimensional energies that flow through these images. So what I'd like to do today is sit down with you and do a sketching so that you can see the automatic process of one of these pieces coming together, because really I have no preconceived idea of what I'm doing, but I put myself in a peaceful state, thus the jazz music and whatever else soothes me at the time. And I believe I allow through the images and the frequencies that are meant to manifest and tell me, inform me through revelation, what it is that I need to know or need to experience, or to stupefy me in its own creation process. So here we go. I'm going to just hook this up to the stable tripod, and hopefully you can see the paper here. And here we go. I'm using right now a Faber-Castell artist pen. I usually prefer them a little thinner. This one's a little thick, but I love a nice smooth flowing line. And I am left-handed, so I position this so hopefully you can see this thing come about. Again, I guess I have a tendency to want to bring these into a form that to me is totem-like. So although I'm not calculating which direction my hand is flowing with each particular line, I allow this to create itself. But there is an organic flow and just a nice balance of the right and left hemispheres of the brain. And you know, I'm observing as the piece is coming together. I think I'm making split-second decisions here and there on which areas to fill in or move through. Try to zoom in here a little more if it helps. Perhaps I can speed up the video so that you can view this come together even quicker, but really, these don't take so long. I figure I like to fill up the paper space, so say this is one character here being created, I may add a second and a third, and the whole thing may take 10 minutes, you know. So what happens here towards the bottom part of the page is I'm what I consider creating a base or a footing for the character. I don't know why, but this is the way I've always done it, and it's not that they always have to be directional, but I think of these as symbolizing humanity in transformation. Transfiguration, I like that term. So even though these are very abstract looking beings, they are vertical, and they have a footing, a body, and a head area, and so they tend to exhibit a kind of vertical humanoid standing being. As you see, there might be a lot of repetitive shapes, but no one of these drawings is ever exactly like another. And what I do is a form of channeled glyph drawing, so that any individual who maybe I'm speaking with, I inquire about your inner nature as I'm sketching one of these, and I believe what happens is we bring in a vibratory signature so that you can receive a glyph drawing based on our interaction together, and perhaps it will mean something to you. So like I say, this is all revelatory to me because I never know what's going to come out, but there is a trusting, as perhaps you can see, with just knowing that even though you're not sure which direction these lines are going, but there's a flow and a love and a trust that just allows nature to have its way. And the way of nature is always beautiful. Sometimes my eyes are even half squinted just because I'm concentrating kind of on a subtle level. And yes, I've trained my hand. This was my experience even from the very first time I started doing this. It's automatic drawing. I was allowing my hand and the pen to be guided where it wanted to go, and not trying to manipulate anything. Like I said, sometimes certain characters will want to come out that are recognizable as humans or animals, but for the most part, I keep these very abstract and enjoy the quality of kind of more shape making And to me, the process of art is really about creating something which has never existed before. I mean, as small creators in God's greater creation, isn't it wonderful that we're given the opportunity or the ability to participate in creation like this? Something about squares that have been coming in a little more now lately. As you can see, I'm kind of going for the footing here on this one. The wide base. Honestly, these are also very sculptural. Like, these are studies for what will be large-scale sculptural creations. I am a sculptor and a painter, and I work in many mediums. And there we have it, folks. I'm going to try to back out here so you can see the whole piece. Is this making any sense here? I don't know why I'm having trouble getting it in there. Here, let me grab the camera so I can have more control here. Okay, so what you have are two beings interacting. Now, you can give your interpretation. I could tell you that what I see is this being here on the right is more, sometimes one's more masculine and the other one's more feminine. Doesn't necessarily have to be that way, but you can see they're interacting and they're in some kind of exchange. There's a communication. Some see these as cartoony, but I've always considered them more sophisticated than that. You can really see the detail here. So any of you that have ideas or suggestions, I would like to promote these in the world, and I do commissions, so thank you for your time, and we will have more exploration in this realm of galactic glyphs. Alright, well, something I'd like to add, I had begun to introduce my booklet, Living Light Language. I call it a booklet because it's only 47 pages long, but it makes it a nice, quick, easy read. It's got 9 chapters. One chapter is Creation Speaks, the other is Origin. I go into the origin of creation through Vedic wisdom, which I have studied for 30-some years with different teachers and masters from India. The third chapter is Ancient Future, which is a very cool term, which a lot of my art symbolizes through a reference to many cultural ancient imagery, and yet a futuristic appeal, because that's where we're going and where we're from, the ancient future. Chapter 4 is Descended Knowledge, which is how do we receive higher dimensional knowledge. That'll be discussed. Chapter 5, Crop Circles, which is certainly our brothers and sisters of the higher dimensions, or even subterranean, but imprinting upon this earth beautiful sacred geometry designs which are full of love and information. So living light language is certainly that, whether it's music or whether it's visual art or whether it's shapes, sounds, colors, those things which impress us with information, even on a subconscious level, of quantum packets of energy and information that inform us of our greater spiritual reality and our multi-dimensional selves. The 6th chapter is called Galactic Art, the 7th chapter Sacred Sound, the 8th chapter Ascension, and the 9th chapter The Golden Age. So I also wanted to inform people to look me up on my website, Galactic Glyphs, with an S on the end, .com, and that's Galactic, G-L-Y-P-H-S, galacticglyphs.com, and I will be happy to communicate with you through Skype, a phone call, email, and when we connect energetically, I can also sketch out a glyph for you that I think you would appreciate having on your wall at home and telling your friends about. And this is all very affordable. I want to do this from the joy of my heart, for the benefit of all. And we can discuss pricing, but $30 for a glyph. And also, I do reconnective healing, which is a well-established form of energy healing. Eric Pearl is the founder of that, and that has been traveling around the globe for the last 10 years or so. It's very much like Reiki, but I think even dealing with definitely higher dimensional energies. And I have my booklet. So if you want a package deal, you get the book, you get a glyph, and you get a long distance or personal reconnective healing session, all for $108. So visit my website, and I'd be happy to communicate with any and all of you for any reason whatsoever, even if you just want to chat. Take care, shalom, namaste, and aloha.